Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week, by popular demand, I'm going to be making lots and lots of different veggies. Number one, roasted cauliflower, broccoli and fennel with a mix of coriander seeds, fennel seeds, turmeric and jeera and a bit of oil. And that combination just adds so much flavour and you get really crunchy, but crunchy on the outside, but kind of a bit softer on the inside. Then we're going to do a broccoli and leek gratin, which is super cheesy and creamy and very decadent, but also not a particularly difficult thing to achieve. It's just chop up, mix together, oven, done. Then we're going to be doing a roasted aubergine and pepper with ras el hanout and nigella seeds, which again you might have seen on my Instagram this week when I was prepping. And finally we're going to do corn on the cob, which I know is a classic, but I think, you know, boiling it, delicious, but if you add a bit of spice and butter, it can just be like mind-blowing. As always, all the ingredients and measurements will be in the description box. Let's get started. So, you're gonna need a head of cauliflower, about a quarter or a third of a head of broccoli, and a full bulb of fennel, then some kind of flavourless oil like sunflower, then turmeric, ground cumin and fennel seeds. I'll give you a close up there in case you don't know what any of those look like, but you should find them very easily in a supermarket. And also you should preheat your oven around now to 190 degrees Celsius. Here you've got some coriander seeds, very important, and finally some salt, of course. Chop up your cauliflower and broccoli roughly and slice your fennel and lay them on a baking tray with greaseproof paper on. And then you're simply just going to add in all the spices. Not sure what that weird swirly thing I just did was, but all the spices, the oil, the salt and the coriander, and then you're just going to give them a really good mix together, which you'll see me doing in a second, just to make sure everything's coated in all the oil, all the spices, so that you get a flavour with every single bite. And I would really recommend that you can have this as a side with any dish that you're making, but also it's a really great dish. Just bake that for 30 minutes in your preheated oven and enjoy. And so now we've got the aubergine and pepper ras el hanout dish, and so you'll need an aubergine, a red pepper, nigella seeds, ras el hanout, which is a powder form, oil and salt. So just to give you an idea, ras el hanout is a North African spice and it has, you know, coriander, cinnamon, black pepper in it, just an example. And then you'll mix the ras el hanout with some oil and use a pastry brush or whatever you have to kind of lightly coat both sides of both the aubergine and the peppers. And the reason you use a pastry brush is because if you put too much oil, then it becomes very oily and a bit, just a bit intensely oily. So this means that when it cooks in the oven, it's not too oily, it's just nice and golden and succulent. So yeah, again, preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius, brush everything with the oil and ras el hanout, and then you will sprinkle on the nigella seeds and some salt. And then bake that for about 35 minutes and you'll get lovely, golden, deliciously caramelly dish. Now we have the corn on the cob. So you'll need 3 corn on the cob or 2, or it doesn't matter however many people you're serving, butter, garlic granules, and then a mix of chili powder and paprika, depending on how spicy, and some salt. And all you need to do is boil the corn for about 25 to 30 minutes on a medium-high heat. Then you mix all of the other ingredients together to make this kind of paste, and then you just brush that on the hot corn on the cob and enjoy while it's nice and hot and melty and garlicky and spicy. You can use loads of other combinations of spices. I think it's just mixing them with the butter and brushing them on. Now finally we have the broccoli and leek gratin, which is my favourite. It's very calorific, but it's a great way to serve vegetables, especially to kids if they're not massive fans. So you'll need leek, broccoli, butter, double cream, milk, salt, garlic and onion, and also of course the cheese to go on top. which I didn't have in that shot for some reason. So now you'll have the butter, which we'll add into a pot, and it'll start melting, which is really great. And once it's melted a little bit, you can throw in your garlic, which I like to crush, and some red onions, nicely chopped. It's really key that you cook them a little bit in the butter before you put them in the oven, because firstly they add a lot of flavour, but if they're not cooked in advance, sometimes they're a bit raw, which isn't great. Then yeah, just cookity cook. It's gonna start smelling really gorgeous. And now you can add in your milk. Oh, your salt first, sorry. Doesn't matter if you add in the salt now or a bit later. Now, once it's all bubbly and the butter's fully melted, that's when you can add in your milk and your cream. And give it a good stir, and you're basically looking for the double cream to be fully dissolved. Obviously, during this time, you should also cut up your vegetables. Roughly cut up is totally fine because they're not going to be very visible. Put it in a baking tray, and again, you should preheat your oven for all of these vegetables. Apart from the corn and the cob, you need to preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius. Then put all of your veggies in a nice baking dish and pour on your creamy liquid. And then just sprinkle on top with loads of grated cheese. And bake for 35 minutes until it looks delicious like this and it's all bubbly. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and tune in next Sunday for my next video. Subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything. And also, if you would like to be involved in the process of deciding what I'm gonna make, you can either leave me a comment on this video, or you can follow me on my Instagram, which is @mysugarthumb, and I do lots of polls on there to decide. Have a lovely Sunday and see you next week. Bye.